second chance in the game.
We are doing our second presentation. This is some of the past concepts from the quick game in the air raid package. I talked earlier in my run session about our school. We are a large, affluent school in Northwest Columbus, and we have about 2,100 students. We have about 145 of those students involved in our football program, whether that be at our freshman level or our varsity level. And so we have a certain type of athlete, I guess, that we get here, and we've had to adjust a little bit over time to the clientele we have. And we felt like, you know, kind of spreading the ball out a little bit, spreading out the defense was in the best interest of the young men that we have at this particular facility. So if you want to learn a little bit more about our school and what we do, you can look at the beginning of that presentation. I talked a little bit more about that. But getting specifically to our pass game. With us, the thing that we have hung our hat on a lot here over the last few years, last probably 10 years, is our stick package. If you know anything about the air raid scheme, you know that that is a staple in this system. There's several other things like mesh and shallow and the 4 vertical stuff that are also just as significant in the package. But for us, it's a simple concept. It's where we start. In our run game, our backs have to know, and our running back coach has to understand that if on every play the back could not run the stick route, or for him in the stick package, it's the arrow route. If he can't run the arrow route from where he's at, then the running back coach is going to have to figure it out, whether it be our gap scheme or our zone scheme. He's going to be lined up basically foot to foot with that tackle on every play so that we can run stick. And I'll comment on that many times at practice. You know, can we run stick? Can we run the stick package from where you're at right now? If the answer is no, then they got to adjust. And once again, the running back, quarterback coach, and the players, they have to kind of figure that out and make that work. So when we talk about our pass schemes in this package, the air raid guys will talk about them as concepts. We will use that term, concepts, package, whatever. And what I like to talk about with my quarterbacks are nursery rhymes. And so for each of our pass concepts, did we learn our nursery rhyme? So for stick concept, the nursery rhyme is very simple. Stick, arrow, check down. Stick, arrow, check down. Quarterbacks need to be able to say that, know it, understand exactly all the aspects of it, because that is their progression. So for each concept that we have, each pass concept that we work through, the quarterback has to know what to do with this. Now, as you're looking at the slide there, this is a high percentage completion package for us. Over the years, one year to another, these numbers may fluctuate a tiny bit one way or the other. But for the most part, we're going to see about a 5-yard average here. We're going to have a very high completion rate, 70% or better. Very few interceptions on this and very few sacks. And when you look at the sacks that happen here, most likely it's because we just made a poor decision. The scheme was there, and the quarterback just maybe overthought it or put himself into a bad position on it. This has been a real safe, effective way for us to attack the defense in just about every situation. Now, obviously, it's not a great 3rd and 12 play, but every other situation other than that, it's a good play to get you, to the next play. So in looking at that, we have a concept there, stick, arrow, check down in that. Now, if you know anything about the air raid, or if you've ever spent time studying the air raid, you'll know that this stick route is taught 100 different ways. When they originally started doing this, basically, from my understanding, the tight end would be in a true tight end spot, and he would work up to the Mike linebacker and kind of work, kind of box him out and then work back out off of him on this route. And then obviously the back would be working to the flat as quickly as he can, and you can do that with an arrow route or a swing route or any of those things. But that was the basic concept of it. And we ran it for a couple years, a couple different ways, but what we came to see as the best way for us is we're going to take whoever's running the stick route, and they're going to approach or attack whoever, we call him the hole defender. you would flat defender, whoever's responsible for that area of the field. And so the stick route runner has to do a really good job of attacking that defender. Now that defender usually does a couple things. One, he is in zone, but he's taught to hit number 2. So he's going to get physical when number 2 is coming up to him. He's also a possibility that he's told to get to the flat as fast as he can. We're seeing that now with a lot of these odd stack defenses, and they're kind of playing a hidden coverage there. But that whole player flies and gets to the flat as fast as he can. The other thing that's a possibility is he's in man coverage. So he's just going to work on you, and whatever you do, he's going to do. So here's our rule for the stick route runner. We're going to attack that guy. We're going to attack his inside shoulder, his inside hip, for a depth of 6 yards, and we're going to stick our foot in the ground, and if he's still there, we're going to box him out, all right? Now, if he's in man coverage, if I sense man coverage, and it's real easy to see, is he staring at me, is he staring inside? If he's in man coverage, when I stick that route, I'm going to work back down, because if he's in man on me, the inside linebacker's man on the back, and what we would like the inside linebacker to have to do, we would like to have him come over top of our grouping. So of me, and if I'm the Y and the whole player, when I work up and then start back down towards the line of scrimmage with my hands up, that linebacker is going to start his angle towards the back and then work over top of that, which means we still got a good play to the back, because the quarterback, very simple, when he pushes off, and all we do here is we just push off one, get our feet set, and when he's feeling that, if the whole player touches or is near the stick route runner, then he's just simply releasing it to the arrow right now. If the whole player widens, then he's going to hit the stick route. Now, what kids have a tendency to do, what young men will do when they think they know and understand, is they're going to go, when they're working that stick route versus zone, they want to sit in the hole, and when I say hole this time, I mean space between the outside linebacker and the inside linebacker. Well, you want to coach them out of that. And the reason why is because that inside linebacker is coming hard when he gets that read, when he sees that back go. They can sight read this. And so he's going to get hit harder when that happens. So he really wants to chase that whole player for 3 steps. Once he gets to 3 steps, if that guy's flying, then he's got to get to 6 and sit down. But they have a tendency to drift into that space between, and that space between always causes them problems. So once again, going back to our drawing, that's essentially the stick route. I'll work on the outside. Where you see the Z there, that is what we would call, now it says pre-snap. If he's got press, you can take 1 step and throw it over top. We don't do that a ton. In the defenses we see, sometimes we're better at that position, but not always. So if we are a lot better, then we do that. But if we're not, then that may not be the option we're looking for, because we're not going to complete it anyway. So he runs what's called an MOR, mandatory outside release, if he has a soft corner in any way. Now, what that means simply is this: you're not getting the ball. I'm not getting the ball, so what's my job? My job is to run at that corner as hard as I can, get him into his drop, and then I want to rip through his outside shoulder when we reduce our space between us, okay? I'm not going to block him unless when I'm running at him and he's backpedaling and doing his thing, if I see him hard inside and in his eyes, his demeanor changes, and he's going to change, that tells me the ball's been thrown, it's probably completed. I can go ahead and break down and block him, all right? If not, if I don't feel that, then I want to rip through his outside shoulder, protecting, helping the routes underneath. So MOR on the outside. The running back with his arrow route, stick, arrow, check down, stick, arrow, check down. With the arrow route, I'm foot to foot with the tackle. If I want to cheat a little bit inside leg, almost not in the crotch, but just slightly inside. A little bit, if the linebacker doesn't detect that, you can move a little bit and cheat just a little bit there. My aiming point, the arrow route comes from this. If I had a bow and arrow and I shot that thing 3 yards past the line of scrimmage out of bounds, I want to run that exact course. I want to run that exact course as fast as I possibly can. No bubble in, no bubble back, just running a straight line as fast as I possibly can at that position. And then I'm going to look for the ball over my outside shoulder. The back is really, when we run stick a lot or we run a little from each season, it's usually I found that it's the back that creates that dilemma for us. if they don't run it well, if they don't trust it, if it's not full speed, then that may scrap the stick package for you in terms of the way we run it. Now, backside. Backside, basic thought when they start is we're running a slant, okay? But there's a couple things that come into that. If I'm the inside receiver on the backside, when I run my slant, if it's zone and I get to the guard, I got to settle because now I'm the check down part of stick, arrow, check down. Obviously, if it's man, I'm going to keep running. If I'm on the outside, when I'm an outside leg back at 3 steps, I'm going to stick my foot in the ground, work for my slant. When I snap my eyes to the quarterback, if the quarterback's eyes are not to me, that means he's working front side. I'm not getting the ball. So now I'm thinking auxiliary things. What if that goes wrong? So their job, after 3 steps on the slant, they're going to stick their foot in the ground again with their eyes constantly on what's happening and bust hard back outside. That way, if the quarterback pulls the ball down and starts working his sideline, he's available as an outlet. And then if the quarterback's working to him in a scramble mode, then when he's working back out to the sideline, if the ball doesn't come then, he turns up the sideline and you can get a big play from that. So stick, arrow, check down. And it doesn't matter what the formation is. This is simply the same thing to the left, okay? And then obviously the rules for that, I just kind of basically went through those. Now, what about trips? If we're running stick and we have trips, what do we do with that? You have options. So one of the things that we're seeing a lot of right now in our area is to cover up trips. We're covering up all 3, but we're doing it creatively. They might be pressing number 1 or soft on number 2. Usually they don't press at number 2, but there is a defender that's within 4 to 5 yards of him. Number 3 is where it gets creative. Sometimes that guy's at 8, 9 yards. If he's back at that level, then I'll run stick the way that it's drawn up here, is that we will work an out from number 2, which becomes the arrow part of the stick, arrow, check down, a stick from number 3, because we feel like that hole where the stick is, the Mike linebacker is going to do that. Now, you can do 2 things with your stick route. You can, once again, to create width, you can have him chase the guy that's over number 2. If that works, okay, depends on what the defense is taught and what they're doing. The other thing you can do then is just have him run his route off number 3, which is up high at 8 yards, and then he'll just sit down at his 6-yard spot and be the stick. If he does it that way, just keep in mind he's going to be closer to the mic when he catches the ball. He might get hit harder. If he runs it the other way, the possible downside of that is if it's man, it's going to bring somebody straight to, there's all kind of little things. So you just kind of have to figure out what is the defense doing, what do we want to get out of this. Another thing you could do if it's man is you could have the middle guy run the stick route and the inside guy run the arrow route. So now you get a natural rub there, and depending on what the defense does with that, if they're going to combo it inside and outside, that at least may get guys back off of you so that you can continue to do your stick package. On the backside, it's exactly the same. If I'm running a slant from the outside, I hit my slant. If he's not looking my way, 3 steps, I stick my foot in the ground, come back outside. All right, and then in this case, the back in this situation would become the check down on the backside. So you have options. If you know how to teach the route and you know what you want your quarterback to see, you can kind of dress it up however you choose. And then 2-back. 2-back becomes really simple. The back on the front side is running the arrow route. The back on the backside becomes the check down. And then the wide receiver, the wide receiver on the backside runs a slant. If it's not there, he can work himself back out. The MOR on the front side doesn't change. The stick route doesn't change. Not exactly excited about the way the stick route's drawn here, but I think you guys get the concept of how we want it run. All right, so when we start to take a look at this, looking at the plays here, looking at the cut-ups as we run through, in this situation, it's 1st and 10. They just punted the ball. They pinned us down to the 5-yard line. This is a great way to get out of there a little bit, without running, loading everybody up in the box and running off tackle. You can get the ball out. There's very low chance for a sack here, very low chance for something really bad happening. Even if it's incomplete, it's still 2nd and 10 from the 5-yard line. So in this situation, we feel like this is really good. So when we look through this, we'll evaluate some guys. What is the quality of the stick route that's run? In this case, it's pretty good. This was a late, as you can see, probably the snow in the background there. This was a late game for us. playoff game. And so we've coached it really hard all season. Quarterback takes us one step off. We'll have our slants on the backside working. And then when you look at the front side, the MOR, not bad. Probably should have ripped through the outside shoulder there a little bit on number one as that guy's settling down and feeling. You can tell right there that ball's been thrown. With the corner's demeanor, that ball's been thrown. So literally in that position, I think we could have blocked on that one. All right, and then the stick route doing a nice job of boxing out, getting his position. For the quarterback's position, take one step. The whole player is clearly going to be physical with that. So you throw the ball to the stick route right now. Guys come off, make the tackle. That's okay. It's second down and whatever it is, 4 from the 11 or 12-yard line now, which is a much different call than 1st and 10 from your own 5-yard line. All right, so just the end zone copy here. One of the other things with stick, and I'm not going to have time to really talk about our protections, but basically simple. We'll have a man side and a zone side. And in this play, clearly we're protecting with 5, down our own 5-yard line. If you go to my run stuff, you'll hear me talk about 5 guys can block 5 guys. All right, and then what about the 6th guy? Well, in this case, we like to take the onus and put it back on the defense. Who's going to cover the back? When the back leaves the backfield very quickly, somebody has to account for them. And so if you think about your blitz package, if we have a blitz called and the back's over here, but do we have to change it because, well, now he's going to cover the back and now the blitz has to switch from over here? Do we just call it off? The defense has to do some thinking there and do some adjusting, which they'll do. Defensive coordinators do an amazing job. But in this situation, we are protecting with 5 in our own 5-yard line, which may make some of you nervous. But when you start with it, it's all basic stuff, where your eyes should go. Man side, zone side, and obviously the 6th guy, what does he do here? The 6th guy leaves with the back. He leaves with the back. Whether that be a defensive end, say the linebacker blitz there. What if the defensive end, obviously he could stand up and run with him, which we see quite a bit. Either way, we end up with 5 guys in the box, so that's a really positive thing for us. Now, this a little bit earlier, and one of the issues I have, we get some athletes here who I love, but they play some other sports and do some things that are a little different than us, and I won't mention what sport, but they get in, and so we got to kind of hone them down a little bit. So this guy is a guy that likes to make plays, lined up at H for us right here. Love him, great kid, but he wants to get open, so he's doing the sin of working inside. Now, the guy chased him a little bit, so it's a real easy read for the quarterback, and we're going to throw the ball to the outside here. Makes it real easy, and it really, this is a 220-pound running back running an arrow route. It's not the size of the kid. It's not the speed of the kid. It's because we've had kids that run 4.5s that can't do what we ask them to do in stick. They just can't do it. This kid understood the route, ran it the way we wanted it to be run at a reasonable speed, and puts the defense in a bind. Okay? This is late in the game. This is 2-minute offense for us. We're losing. 2-minute offense for us. They're playing the 7-on-7 defense where they're trying to drop a bunch of guys. That's why 7-on-7 creates a problem for us because they play, man under 2 deep. They're trying to play something like that, and stick is very effective for that. You'll see the alignment of the back is pretty good there. His course is pretty good, and so we have a situation that's pretty beneficial to us. Now, in this game, once again, earlier game in the season, why? He's wrong. Okay, so he's wrong. So I'm going to show you 2 consecutive clips here. He's wrong here because he's going to space. Now, we are able to get the ball to the back here because he's pretty talented, and he's able to get his positive yardage here because that's what the quarterback's read on the whole player told him he should do because the whole player backed up, stayed inside. But the Y is not effective in what he's doing here. So when we come back to the next rep, which is same team, next series, after he's come over to the sideline, our wide receiver coach has talked to him a little bit. So first thing he's going to do is that little adjustment, which probably should have been beforehand because his alignment is supposed to be hash to start with, but it's hard when you're on the opposite hash to keep reinforcing that. And then this is just one series smarter. So in this particular play, he's going to work a little bit better on the whole player, and it just, not that it creates that much of a different situation than for the back, but it just sets up the play a little bit better to where it should be. Now, once again, this is a man situation, so we probably should have had the Y coming back downhill there as well in that situation. All right, once again, from a protection perspective, protect them with 5 guys. People get really nervous, but the defense has to account for people. So what happens to the 6th guy here? He leaves with the back. He leaves with the back. In this case, there's only 4 in the box. If they had brought the inside linebacker, there would have only been 5. 5 guys can block 5. It's just when you have 6, there's a problem. So all of these first clips are clips where we get the ball to the back. We're going to evaluate the Y's route. So this is the last one of the games. This is game 1. The opponent's not that great. And so we're able to just throw it to the back, and obviously they're not flowing to the ball very well. And, the back's able to score. That doesn't happen very often, but we do have a lot of plays where our back gets 8, 7, 10, 12 yards, and we're able to use that and do some really nice things with that. Now, the next set of clips is us throwing to the inside receiver on the stick route. So once again, not a great grade from this kid. As you get further along in the playoffs and you're playing better people, you got to really go back and hone your fundamentals, because kids get a sense of urgency and they get a little bit of nervousness in them. And this is the price he pays for not running that stick route perfect. The whole player widens just a little bit, so that tells the quarterback throw the stick. He throws it to the correct shoulder, which is the outside shoulder, but he takes a nice shot from the middle linebacker, and that's what happens. So we like to show that clip to our players so that they can understand that part. This one, a little bit better. You can see there, he's working the route. He's working the defender. Even though the defender's not running wild to the sideline, he is working to the sideline. So he's creating as much space away from that Mike linebacker as he can. Stick route's not run very well here at all, but the ball was out and he just kind of geared it down. So we would coach him up about effort in that situation. But you're going to catch the ball whichever shoulder you catch it on. So we do little drills where the quarterback back are there, quarterback throws here, I drop step here and go. Quarterback throws here, I drop step here and go. What that's supposed to tell them, what the target practice we do with our quarterback is, throw to the shoulder away from the defender. Throw to the shoulder away from the defender so that you can help your guy when he catches the ball know how and where to turn upfield. Okay, so the next clip we have here in the stick package, we have our JVs on. So this game is a game where we're ahead. So, is what we're teaching going again. So, our young Y runs a really nice route. Probably doesn't quite get to the depth he's supposed to be. The young running back in this particular clip is running a decent arrow route. The whole player tells the quarterback what to do with the ball. The throw's a little low. He's nervous. You can tell with his feet there. The only guy in the whole picture that's wrong is the backside back for whatever reason. He's probably nervous in the game, and he ran a shoot route, which would not be part of this package. So that's really the only thing that's flawed in that situation. All right, so here's the trips look. This is the look I was just talking about a few minutes ago. So we got press on one. So we're just going to take him and go. All right, we have close relationship on number 2. So he's working his out route. Not a great out route there, planting off the wrong foot. And we get a decent stick route running off number 3. Quarterback does a nice job throwing to the outside shoulder away from that Mike linebacker defender. Turn and work straight upfield if you can. And we're picking up 5-6 yards. So, that's really the effectiveness of the play. And here's that defensive look again. Same thing here. Driving up to that spot. All right, he's going to throw to the outside shoulder. What do we have here? 2nd down and 8 or 7 or so. And so that's a nice play to give us a 3rd and short look. It gives us 3rd and 1 at this situation, which is a workable distance. Now, backside with the H running. So now we're running stick left. All right. Same exact thing. So the Y and the H both have to learn how to run the stick route. Quarterback does a really nice job here. This is our young kids again. Just show them what they've been coached and they can do. Ball to the outside shoulder. Even a young receiver knows ball to the outside shoulder. I turn to the outside and work my way upfield. Let me see here. One more time. Really good stick route here to the inside receiver. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Sitting down in that hole and getting to that spot. Backside slant. Sorry about the film quality there. So I talked about this in our run game part. we get in the red zone, it gets really difficult at times. Running the ball down there, the way we do it, we can have, seventh guy in the box does create us some problems. So we spend 5 minutes every day in practice, one-on-one routes from the 1, 2, 3, 4 yard line. It's our kids, it's probably their favorite part of practice. You can do it in just helmets. You can do it in shells, helmets, and shoulder pads, or you can do it in full pads. And it's pretty much, it's basketball, so it's full go. So we run slants, we run goes, we run, our double moves down there. And our kids get really, really good at running these routes. We do brother versus brother. We do ones versus ones. We do scout team player of the week versus our top guy, so he gets a chance to do like the Rocky thing and have a great play. And we let the kids celebrate, have fun with it, and they look forward to this session every day. But what it provides for us, so this is one of our 2-point plays. We're just simply in our empty look here. So we're an ace with our back on the right side, and we're running stick right, which our quarterback knows. He's got a one-on-one with his favorite guy that has run a slant 100 times at practice, and nobody on our team can stop him from doing it. So he's just going to catch the ball, give a quick glance away to hold that backer, and then he's going to pop that slant in there. And so, our kids know from what they know what we're going to call. This play probably took like 2 seconds to call in. Look at the quarterback. He's getting the quick. He knows what's coming. He's like, give me the ball as quick as you can. Give me that ball. I got this. And so just a quick, easy throw. And that's been practiced, a couple hundred times in practice. So these are backside slants, man coverage things. Once again, talk to your quarterback. If you need to go talk to your baseball guys, get some signals. Front side, back side. Boy, how easy is that for the coach to just stand with some kind of indicator as front side, back side. In some cases, the quarterback just wants to do it himself, all right, and just finding that receiver that would have the best ability to be open. Once again, going all the way to the back side and hitting number 1 on the back side. So remember, we talked about that guy. If he does so right here, when he hits the slant, quarterback's working me. So I'm the slant guy. If the quarterback had his back to me, working the other side, then after 3, I'm going to stick my foot in the ground and go back outside. But in this case, he's working me. Why? Because there's a little corner over me, and I'm a 6'5" good athlete, and he's going to turn and throw me the ball because that's easy, and then obviously give me a chance to make a play. And then, third down situation, 3rd down and 3, we put this formation in the sideline, which is something we like to do because that creates a lot of space for the slant. This is a no-brainer for our quarterback in this look. We'll just take it and throw it to the really good kid and get the first down and go ahead and move on. That is the main thing for our slant package, or excuse me, our stick package. Just one more here. One thing that, the quarterbacks understand this. If the outside guy is a man, most likely the inside guy is too, which means he's going to clear that path. If that kid one-on-one has no chance, just throw your kid the ball. Just throw your kid the ball. That's the kid you've trusted. Once again, our goal line route package, our period during practice provides us with that opportunity to do that. All right, so we're going to jump here. So that is our stick package. We're going to jump then to, grab my glasses real quick, to our out package. And really, there's no difference here. It's essentially the same exact thing. We are talking first about our nursery rhyme. In this particular case, our nursery rhyme is go, out, check down. That go against the cover 4 team, cover 3 team that's playing soft is simply going to become an MOR. The out is run by number 2. It is simply a 6 back to 5 out. And then the back becomes the check down on the front side. The slant becomes the check down on the back side, so you can have 2, and then trips can do that. And then slants on the back side, just like we taught in our stick package. So if you're on the back side, stick and out are basically the same thing. If you're on the front side, then that's the only time you have to learn the little nuances, the little difference in it. So in looking at the drawing of this, do you want to use this? There'll be 2 things I would, we have a tight end that's at Toledo, and he's a starting tight end up there. And so when he did this, he's a bigger kid. We ran out because he would go up and he would basically run into who was ever covering at 5 yards. That kid, when being run into by a 240-pound athlete, is off balance and then break out and he was open. Your little quick kids can work up and they can do a little shimmy and then bust out. So either ways of those work. So the only time you get in trouble is if the quick kids watch the big kid and run it like him. They can't do that. And you just need to explain to them, you're not him. Do it the way that works best for you. And so when you look at this, it looks pretty much the same as our stick package. You got the slants on the backside. Really, really simple for the quarterback here. If he's confused, he can simply glance to the sideline. Coach, what do you want me to do here? All right, what do you want me to do here? And then any body gesture you have. Once again, go talk to your baseball coaches. They have a million of them. Any body gesture you have that looks like a normal movement, you can simply communicate to him, throw front side, throw back side. Look front side, look back side. Really simple, really simple. You can even tell him exactly which receiver to throw it to if you want to. It's just a matter of figuring out a communication system between you and the quarterback if needed. Some guys are so good that you'll actually mess them up if you do that. You can add out double to the package where you know you got an out. An out's the best thing to run, but you don't know if you want it right or left. And then once again, you can talk to your quarterback. All right, so now obviously the backside stuff is taken away from you, the slant, but you're figuring there's an out here because maybe they're playing their backers inside, you know, their leverage is inside and the out's just easy. Sometimes quarterbacks like to throw the short side out, they like the field throw, it just depends. And then obviously you have talent of player that's trying to cover each other. In trips, once again, we can do a variety of things, and we've done them all. One thing that we've done in the past, teams want to man up on you on the trip side. Just take your Z and move him to the inside, run off with the two outside guys, put your best receiver on a lesser opponent, and then run an out route, and it's a really nice space to run it in. You can run two outs, so the H and the Y can both run an out. And then you just, feel that inside out, whatever the quarterback feels there. Once again, it can come down to matchup. So you can go two MORs and one out, or you can go one MOR and two outs on the front side. Nothing changes on the back side. It's just like stick. So the back has got the check down, and then the outside guy has the slant. So just options for you to pick from with this. Once again, we're in the red zone. We're in empty again. All right, we're in empty. We're trying to gain an advantage. This is the big kid from a couple years ago, and you can see his technique was very simple. I'm going to use my body. I'm going to drive up for 5, close to it. He's not quite there, and make a play. And make a play in that space. We got a lot of room to the field. The H should be lined up a little more space between him and the back. That's the back. That's number 3 on the back side. So we're just empty left here, working through that. As we continue to work this, now we're in 2x2, working the same thing, same player. Our belief is the kid over him just isn't good enough. It's just not good enough to defend that kid. Keep it really, really simple. All right, looking for matchups. The more I hear people talk about, what the NFL does and what the high-end college guy, they just look for matchups. They just look, what's the best matchup that gives us the greatest advantage in this situation. They move a lot of guys around to create it. We do some of that movement, but not quite as much. Here we are once again working in the short side to a little guy. Now, the little guy in this situation trying to be a little bit more of a big guy with the technique, but we can work on that. All he's got to do when we get close to the end zone on the out route, we just simply tell the guys, get in the end zone, work out. Get in the end zone and work out as quick as possible, because this is where, in terms of they can bring the extra guy here. They can bring that extra guy. Now, obviously, with the guy, they're playing a safety up high. We're covered in the box here because, once again, who's going to cover all of our guys? But they could bring an extra guy here in that situation. All right. Let's keep going here. All right. Working one more with the out package. Playoff game here down near the goal line. Key situation, I believe 3rd down here as the film is showing you. All right. Just go to your player. Go to your player that can make plays. Let him make a play. All right. Let him make a play. Let him run a quick out route. Give your quarterback options. Okay. Similar thing here. We're putting things into the sideline, and now he feels the out here to the field and just making a play. All right, just making a play with that. Give your best athletes an opportunity to do it. Now we go to the field again. a scholarship level player, one-on-one with a kid that's not, then you got to find a way to take advantage of that. Just run a simple little route down on the goal line. Takes all those guys hammering into the box, makes what they do almost useless. And we're just going to the best one-on-one matchup we can find. I believe these are some backup slant, okay? And once again, sorry, film clip there. Once again, we got a slant situation where a kid is against a kid that's just way better than him, and you just can't cover that. We have the advantage there, take the advantage. All right, here's a double outlook. Here it is, trips. So we're working, in this case, we had two really good athletes, two scholarship players there, and they're both working the out. Quarterback's taking the easiest throw that he felt like he had, and picking up the yardage we need there, working both outs, MOR slant on the backside. On some of those, you'll see that slant on the backside not go back out. Once they see the ball thrown, it's hard to get them to follow through at that point in time. They're kids. And so if they see the ball out already, they're not going to work real hard. Backside slant, once again, pretty good player against a kid that's, just too far off, right? And they're blitzing there. I mean, I could feel that slant coming into that window. That's pretty easy to pick and, just pitch and catch there. All right. That's basically our out package. Very similar to our stick package. Gives us the ability to do all those things. The other package we have, our Hitch package. I'll show you a few clips of that. As I was saying, this Hitch package, there's a couple lessons I learned as a coach from doing this. We got into a situation a few years ago, and I'll show you some clips of it, where teaching all of our kids what to do all the time became really important. So when we look at this concept, the Hitch concept, our nursery rhyme that we'll teach our quarterbacks is hitch, go, check down. Hitch, go, check down. This really, if you wanted it to be, it could be a tag off your 4 verticals. The concept is 4 verticals, but we're just hitching up on the outside. So we don't have backside slants on this, and that'll be a little bit different. So the quarterback's just got to know what he's looking for. So when you look at this, we're going to run hitches on the outside. This is versus 1 safety. So if it's versus 1 safety, the quarterback's got some options here. He can open to the hitch and then shuffle back. That's a drop we can do. Or if he feels like we got hard corners, people that are up, then he can drop 3 and then read the safety. Which safety? The appropriate safety. So when we go to the too high look, we're going to take both of our seam runners, and both seam runners are going to bend skinny post against the safety that's closed or locked his seam, whatever term you use to describe that. Now, they don't run into each other. Even at practice, when you're throwing it to both of them in your routes on air period, they don't run into each other, okay? This gives the quarterback the ability to pick 1 safety and work against him, okay? Work against that 1 safety. Now, clearly, when it's not the full VOR vertical and you have the go routes on the outside, you get a little bit of a disadvantage here. But your route runner just needs to set that safety up well and break across his face hard, and there is a nice window to throw that in there. Okay, when we have this versus trips, the same exact thing happens. We're working our 4 verticals scheme on the inside. We have an open hash on both sides, so we're going to cross the face of the safety with the Y. We're going to take the hash. We got our hitches on the outside. If it's too high versus this, then the same thing. We're going to cross the safety's face, and the cross runner, that's really a cross route that the Y's running, he's just going to work across the safety's face as well. Quarterback has the same exact options, possibilities that he could do on any of those. So getting to the clips on this, versus cover 4 here, this is pretty simple. If number 2, what's the easiest throw? The easiest throw is the sideline. One thing I failed to mention, if the ball's on my hash in high school and I'm running a hitch in this offense, a hitch, a curl, or a fast screen, I'll get to our curls in the play action part, I'm on numbers or wider. If the ball comes to my hash, I split the difference between the bottom of the number and the sideline. You can see our receiver. What that does is create space Now the inside receiver here, he's got to work to the hash and work to the safety, which is awkward. So you got to move your routes on air and quick. You got to go right hash one day, middle one day, left hash. If you go through your weekly routine, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that covers it. So you can get alignments and people in this right space to do that. But in this particular case, they're going to bang number 2. This is such an easy turn and throw. And I don't remember when I learned this or who I heard say this in my early coaching careers, but one of the gurus of quarterbacks or receivers said this: on a hitch, if you want to complete it, the ball needs to be halfway to the receiver when he turns. And so that's always our goal. Rarely do we meet that goal because that's really challenging to do. Your receiver has to be good and your quarterback, but that's our goal. That's what we're trying to get at. That's what we talk about in film when we talk about it. Like I said, I don't know where I picked that up or who said that, but early on in my coaching career, I just remember somebody saying that, and so we always talk about that. So once again, I am facing the quarterback when I catch the ball. Where do I catch it? Inside shoulder, outside shoulder. That determines where I'm supposed to turn because it's supposed to be telling me where the defender is. Once again, you got to work your target practice in that. It's not necessarily always turn to the outside on the hitch. So there's actually a great coaching story in this. So in 2016, we ended up with an undefeated regular season. We were playing our biggest rival, week 9, and they were beating us. We had 3 quarterbacks play in that game because our first quarterback had a high ankle sprain in the first quarter. Our second quarterback the week before had got a mild concussion, and we decided the whole week, even though he was cleared, he's a young kid, we're not going to do that to him. We're not going to put him in this game no matter what. He's, in our terms, he's out, even though the doctors have cleared him. And so we just didn't think that the other quarterback would go down. And so our kicker, who was our third quarterback, and did all the routes on air drills and did all the quick game drills and did all the goal line route drills every day with our quarterbacks because that's what he did. He goes in the second quarter and has to defeat our biggest opponent if we're going to go from 8-0 to 9-0. And the only thing we knew that he could throw the hitch, that the kids liked catching his hitch, and he threw a good hitch in practice. So as coaches, we just talked to him and said, and this is what you're comfortable with. We're going to throw the hitch. So he came out and threw for over 200 yards. 90% of it was throwing a hitch to the sideline, and our guys taking and something doing it. He did throw a big slant for a touchdown late in the game. That's not part of this because it's not part of this package. But this is our kicker working in the most important game of the year, league championship, biggest rival, in doing that. So as a coach, I was very much in tune after that. Guys, everybody needs to know what to do. Everybody needs to be able to play. Next guy up has to actually mean something, or else we could really cost us. The other thing about the hitch, and I think there's a clip here that shows it in just a second, but this is that game. As you can see over and over again, they wanted to play zone coverage because of our run game and different things we did with it. It allowed us, they wanted to do certain things versus our 2x2 in terms of ace. Now, this is a good 2-minute play, believe it or not. So, and even under 2 minutes, this is a good 40 seconds left in the game. You're on your own 35-yard line. This is stealing, all right? And with high school football, out of bounds, awesome. Clock stops, okay? First down, clock stops. If you have 2 timeouts, 3 timeouts, even 1 timeout, and you have plenty of time to do whatever you want to do. So this turns out to be, this is that situation in this game right before half. Not much time left. I think it's about 40 seconds left on the clock. We're at that point of field. Just throw the ball over the hitch. Throw the ball over the hitch. You pick up 8. Look at the corner backing up. What's the last thing that cornerback wants? That cornerback doesn't want anybody behind him because he's going to get killed at halftime if that anybody behind him. So he's going to back way up, and he's going to give you, we just picked up 9 yards in less than 4 seconds. Catch the ball, throw it, and we'll do that all the way down if you'll let us. Okay, so don't be afraid to call hitch in a 2-minute situation. And this is just more concept of them wanting to bang number 2. One thing I always tell my quarterback, what's the easiest throw? What's the shortest throw? What's the simplest throw? And then how much do you trust the guy in that spot? If you trust him, go ahead. Now, he might go to the other side because he's saying, Coach, I've watched him on one-on-one, and he doesn't always do that great of a job, all right? And then, obviously this a couple trips look with it. So we're working, getting to our points there. But if they're going to take trips and leave the backside, with a soft corner and nobody in the hole, I mean, this is just really simple. It's a 6-yard hitch, right? And you'll notice on a lot of these, if you look at where the 13 yards, 12 yards, 14 yards. These are big hits to a defense. And what you'll start doing is you'll start getting in the defensive coordinator's head, and he will start moving his corners closer, which now means we got a chance to get him over top. We got a chance to get over top where we may not have had that chance before. Here's just an empty look. We're just creating 4 verticals from empty and creating a situation where we can throw hitch. All right. Once again, our kicker's doing an amazing job of getting people where he wants them. Actually, we actually played that team twice. That was actually the on-kit there. I'm sorry. So this is the great story of that game. So we had gone, we're getting pretty close on this one. We had gone hitch, hitch, hitch. We had gotten into overtime with this team. The quarterback kicker was so nervous that he came to us in a situation where he knew he was going to have to kick a field goal to send us into overtime. And he said, "Can you put Mitch back in the game for this play so I can get ready to go kick?" And I'm just like, I said, "No, you are quarterback now. You got to play." So he played. We kicked the field goal. We sent it to overtime. We get to overtime. They might have kicked a field goal or something. And I think we ran the ball on the first play of overtime here. And then on the headsets, if you see from their secondary, they're still in their 4-3. They're still in their shell, their 4. So, yeah, what are we doing? Well, we're going back to the hitch because we got second down and whatever it is there. Second down and 7. We're going to pick up our 6, 7 yards and keep moving on and see if we can get this game. And sometimes kids do this. So the quarterback takes a quick little drop, which at this point, I'm on the headset saying, "What is he doing?" And then he decides that he's ready to go home. And so he decides to throw the ball against a too high look, a hash closed, to our inside receiver, over the hand. I'll show you the end zone copy in just a second. This number 42 is a Division I scholarship player who went to Ohio University and played some as a freshman. And so he threads it, the kicker, into that spot. And you can see the expression of the linebacker after that happens, that that's the difference in the game. So you never know what kids are going to do, but you need to make sure that kids are prepared to come into the game and be the next guy up. In my earlier session, I talked about the fact that we were in a playoff game and we lost 2 centers in the first half. And we survived the game and won. And the only reason that happened is because we train all of our offensive linemen to play all 5 spots. We keep our offense simple enough that when we go to the next lineman, whether that be, obviously 1 through 5, the best 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, I don't want to go to number 9 because he's the next tackle. I want to go to number 6 or number 7, whoever's next on the list. And usually the simplest thing to do is have the kids on the field adjust to the newcomer. And so the newcomer goes to his most comfortable spot and everybody else just adjusts. So in our offense, everybody snaps. Everybody learns how to pull like a guard. Everybody knows how to pull like a tackle. Our double teams that we work are pretty simple. Everybody works them. And then our pass protection is very simple. We have a man side. We have a zone side. We will try every single play to block with 5 if we can. The only people that really change that for us is the quarterback. If the quarterback knows that he doesn't need, so if it's stick right, and I know I'm going to work this backside slant because I got a mismatch over here, he's going to tell that back to stay. Now, in the simplicity of what we do, the back knows I have the guy coming off the right edge every time, no matter what, because that's what our blocking scheme tells us will happen. That's incredibly simple. If it's another package, it's our curl package, which I'll get into in our play action. If it's our, we don't run a lot of mesh, but I know that's an air raid thing, or if it's our shallow package, always the same. If the quarterback doesn't need the back and he feels uncomfortable, he tells the back to stay, the back's going to pick up. Always, by rule, the uncovered guy or the last guy or the 6th guy coming is going to be on his side, on the edge, because that's what our rules determine will happen. All right. The other thing the quarterback can do, I showed a clip in the run game where we had a defensive lineman that was going to Minnesota, okay, that we were facing, and he was really, really good. So the quarterback can tell him to stay, help 73. Stay, help 73. And this is how we help, okay? So our guy will set up in his pass protection on him, and the running back will move up and in and wait for the shot. This shot is what we call the settle down shot. All right, well, we're telling a defensive lineman, you need to settle down. And so he's waiting for him to get a little bit exposed, and now we're going to come in and get a big hit on him, a shot on him, when he's trying to get through his swim, when he's trying to get through there. And so now when he goes to that swim, he glances. Okay, is there somebody else coming? Just slow him down. Just slow him down a little bit. And that's another opportunity, because backs rarely get an opportunity to actually, what I like to say, play real football, and that is be physical and hit somebody. And, most times they're juking or running and doing that kind of stuff, and we don't put them in too many opportunities to block. So this is an opportunity where, they can click a highlight film or hit star on huddle and be really excited. Hey, that was a play where I got, I can show that I'm a physical football player and do that. So in terms of the protection part, that's really about as far as I'm going to go with that, because that would be another whole hour-long clinic session. But those of you guys, go to your offensive line coach, tell him we want to have a zone side and a man side, and I trust you. Trust me, he's been to enough clinics. He knows what that means. And we're going to release the back, and then the man side just has to account for whoever comes A and B. And that's, you can doctor that up your way, however you want, but that's really the simplest way to do it. That. So 3 basic concepts: the stick concept, stick arrow check down; the out concept, go, out, check down; and our hitch concept. All right, hitch, go, check down. Quarterback in their nursery rhymes, and then the backs and receivers just running their routes and protecting, trying to protect with 5 every single time. But the next phase of this, we'll talk about our play action scheme and how that's become. We've been a big RPO team, but our play action scheme, I think, at times has become more important to us than our RPOs, because it's easier for our quarterback. All right, thanks a lot, guys.